Welcome back for another episode of Within Podcast. Today we are doing special edition, Wish I Would Have Known. This is one of our favorite parts of the podcast that we do. These are fun, man, I wish I would have known. A few months ago, Heidi said to me one day, like, man, I'm going to write a book. And that book is going to be called I Wish I Would Have Known. Because there were so many things that, man, all three of us are like, I really wish I would have known. I wish I would have done it differently. Like, I would not have done that had I known this. So we have been doing these. They're some of our favorite podcasts that we do, but it's essentially just a, man, I wish I would have known. Heidi has a good one today, talking a little bit about some of her experience with the calendar, the thing that, I don't know about you, but I live by my calendar. So Heidi, talk a little bit about how, you've used your calendar, maybe not used your calendar recently.
This is a great example of how our wish I would have known list just keeps on getting longer. Because I didn't really even have this on my list of things to share as I was writing things down for my supposed book. But when in Nicky's wish I would have known, she's talked about just, taking time for yourself and honoring the white space on your calendar. And I brought up to her, I'm like, it's kind of funny that you say that, because since I've retired from corporate America and kind of pivoted and figuring out where I really wanted to spend my time, because I own my time, it's mine now. I was on a walk with my husband and he was like, well, what are you doing today? And I felt like I had to tell him all these meetings that I had scheduled, or otherwise I wasn't doing anything. And so I'm like, well, I've got coffee scheduled with so-and-so. And I just felt like I had to keep on that kind of, schedule. And so, but it's been so freeing to, again, own my own time. If I don't want to work on a Monday and I don't want to work on a Friday, then I say, let's schedule Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday coffees, with acquaintances or business acquaintances, whether it be friends or professionally. And so it's like just one of those, I wish I would have known that you have to maybe even block. And I think later on in my corporate career, I personally did it, or I would see more people putting a block on their calendar,
like
just so that they could save that white space for things that they needed to spend time on. And again, that time might have been, I'm going to go take a walk around the pond,
Right.
or I need to, go and do something outside of the four walls of which I work. And so I did start seeing that more later on in my career. But I just, if anything, would just make sure that people are honoring white space on their calendar, if that's what you want to call it, or just owning your time. And spending it where you want to, where it fulfills you, where it brings you passion. And granted, that's easier said than done. But also you need to take time for yourself outside of whatever your career is that fulfills you. The other space, whether, again, being in nature, spending time with friends, family, and being able to shut off the other stuff, if you will, whatever that stuff could be.
Yeah, that's good.
So true.
And it's hard. Yeah. Sometimes I actually had somebody yesterday that we were trying to schedule a meeting, and I said, against what my rules should be, I was like, well, we could do Friday afternoon. She wants to get a hair scan done, and we were trying to figure out times to do it. And she actually wrote back and said, Fridays, I'm taking your advice, and Fridays are my white space. She actually called it white space. And so as much as I'd like to get that done, can we do it till next week? And I'm like, perfect. That's awesome. But I do think more people are starting to do it, but I think be okay. Like that person did to me, I don't have time at that point. And it was hard for me to start kind of saying that, but be realistic with yourself too, so that you don't feel so frantic at the end of the day.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to the things that I feel like we've talked about a lot, at least the three of us. And I don't know if we've talked about this on a podcast or not, but, for us, we're not just, being leaders in an organization, right? So the three of us are leading different areas of our organization, but it's also, we're leading at home, right? I literally just got a text message from Charlie, my husband, who said, I need to check, we can do something this weekend, but I need to check with our logistics manager. And I was like, love him, right? But why do I have to be the logistics manager? You look at it, we have a calendar that we share. Yeah. So it's like, we are just like in our heads, we're what do you call that? Like that's our thing as women. We're hardwired to like own it all. And I think it's really hard for us to not want to do it all and not want to be the person who like is always on. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of white space to me is like just being off. And I've learned that through, all my gadgets that I've been wearing, which you all know about that too, is that I run stressed all day. Like I literally run stressed all day. And while my Aura ring tells me that that's okay, at the same time, like I don't actually think it is okay. Like I very, very rarely get into what they call restored state, which for me, it seems like the only way I can do that is if I actually take a nap, which I'm terrible at taking a nap. But like, we're just, and we've also had, leaders tell Nicky and I and Heidi, I think we're all there. We sat in a room and we had a leader tell us like, you guys as a business, you need to focus on two things. You too, like you guys need to focus on just two things. It's like, I can't focus on two things. If I focus on two things, like my kids won't get picked up from school or, they won't have a lunch for school the next day or whatever. And again, like Charlie does lots of things in my house. Like I'm not the one who does everything. Like he does just as much as I do, but I still manage all the things and make sure that it all happens. So it's that white space is not just important for our own, like all of it, but it's also just like that ability to like decompress and de-stress, if you will. And I think it's really hard to get out of our own way and to allow others, like I was always so worried that someone was going to look at my calendar and not see that I wasn't on calls all day.
What are you doing then?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what were you doing? Like, getting a massage? Yeah, I wish, but I wasn't. So it's like, how do you get out of your own way? And just other women too. Like we've talked in our other podcast about like the women of 2026 and how we're, don't want to be in leadership roles because we're not supported and women are not supporting women. I think we do a really great job of that, but that is not always actually how it works.
Yeah.
We all need a white space accountability partner, and I think we've all committed to doing that for one another on this podcast. So hopefully you all can find a white space accountability partner that just makes sure that you're honoring your time better.
Yes, for sure. Well, I hope you enjoyed this last most recent episode of I Wish I Would Have Known, part of the Within podcast series. So thanks for joining today.